As our youth goalkeeper got promoted to the senior squad, 2 incredible flying saves in his debut against Aston Villa meant a clean sheet for him and dragged us up to 11th place in the table. But with a -3 goal difference, £52 million in the bank and the January transfer window just round the corner, I've got a decision to make whether I improve my defence or I bring in a midfield partner for James Ward-Prowse. Now, Jeremiah St. Just was one of the players I have been recommended to sign in defence, and at 26 years old he can play at centre-back and at right-back, and whilst I am still waiting on my scout report to come through, as you can see from all of his stats, he clearly has some decent physical stats and he clearly has some decent technical stats as well. The problem I have is I'm really reluctant to break up my central defensive partnership I have at the moment. Bella Kotchap is only 21 years of age, he's got great potential, and as you can see we're not even halfway through the season and he's already gone up by 2 points to 76. And as for Mohamed Salazou, well, he's gone up by 3. He's now officially an 80 rated player, one of the few 80 rated players we have at the squad. And with Coletta Carr also waiting in the wings as well now, having gone up to 79, I'm really reluctant to try and bring in any additional central defenders in this season because I really just don't want to disrupt the development of this man in particular. However, in central midfield we don't really have the same amount of options as we do in defence, with James Ward-Prowse really being the only standout midfielder at the club. And so with that in mind, I have decided that it is a central midfielder that I do want to bring into the club, and as you can see from my shortlist, I have got a plethora of different options to choose from. Now, as you can also tell from the names that are on this shortlist, I didn't really want to go big and start signing names that perhaps just wouldn't really join Southampton in real life, so I wanted to keep it as realistic as possible, and I've gone for young midfielders with plenty of room to grow and develop. As you can see from pretty much all of them, I haven't been able to fully scout all of them yet, so I've set my scouts out, hopefully to do the business, and we'll catch up towards the middle part of this episode, and let's have a look to see who I decide to bring into the club. And whilst we wait for those scout reports to come in, as you can see, we've got the opportunity to make amends against a 4th place Newcastle team who absolutely battered us at the start of the season 4-1. And make amends we do. Of course, it is the goal machine on Onuachu who gets an early goal for us. Alexander Isak did pull 2 back for Newcastle, but an Orsic goal in the middle, and Jeremy Doku getting a goal in the 83rd minute, just when Newcastle thought they'd level the scores. We managed to scrape a 3-2 win, and it is a fantastic way to kick off a new episode. And frustratingly, the only blot on what was a really good result was that Gineppo has picked up a suspension for the next game. Before we move on to that next game though, I do actually just want to check Gineppo out for a second, because I did mention at the start of the season I was considering bringing in a central attacking midfielder in place of either Carlos Alcaraz or Gineppo as well, and as you can see, he's actually been developing not too badly. He does have that something special. He's already gone up by 2 ratings, as well as Alcaraz, who's only unfortunately gone up by 1. But if we head over to their stats, Gineppo is on fire. He's played 19 Premier League games, he got 5 goals and 6 assists, and to be honest, in spite of his rating of being 75, I don't think I could really ask for a better return. That was absolutely sensational from him. Alcaraz probably hasn't really had the same impact, only 1 goal for him in 8 Premier League games, but Gineppo, having been retrained to a cam at the beginning of the episode, he's been on fire, and long may it continue. And in other squad news, the man who was absolutely furious in one of the earlier episodes that he wasn't getting enough game time has now been recalled by his parent club Arsenal. Ainsley Maitland-Niles leaves the club in January, and it means we've got another space open, this time on the right hand side of midfield and defence, that potentially we might need to fill. Liverpool bring us right back down to earth though with a crushing 3-0 win at Anfield. And in even more frustrating news, in a cup competition that the board wanted us to get to the round of 16 in, we go crashing out at the first time of asking, away at Middlesbrough. A late James Ward-Prowse goal, not enough, and they beat us 2-1, and we are out of the FA Cup. However, to round off a series of sim games which can only be described as a complete and utter rollercoaster, we end up drawing away from home at Old Trafford against Manchester United 3-3, with Jeremy Doku getting an unbelievable hat-trick. Unfortunately enough, those results mean that we have managed to put some daylight between ourselves and the relegation zone. We are 9 points clear and solidly in 11th place, exactly where the board want us. And with that hat-trick from Jeremy Doku now taking him up to 5 Premier League goals this season, and Gineppo also chipping in with 5 Premier League goals as well, it is still Onuachu with 12 goals to his name, who is still carrying this team on his back. And as I said, although in defence we definitely need to make some improvements, I think this just highlights how little goals we're having and getting from midfield. James Ward-Prowse only really contributing with 1 Premier League goal. I think it's clear to everyone involved that we badly need a goal-scoring midfielder to partner him. But whilst we wait for those scout reports to come in, we are going to be welcoming Spurs to the St Mary's Stadium for our first played game of the episode. Jeremy Doku's come deep to try and pick the ball up, gives it to Carl Walker-Peters, who then proceeds to go and give it away straight away to Eric Dyer, and Betancourt with a lovely turn, plays it into Harry Kane, leading the line for Spurs. Down the left-hand side, it's Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son continues to drive in. Kane, back to Son, to Hotspur. Lovely play here. It's Harry Kane who picks it up once again. And Carl Walker-Peters, the former Spurs man, in with a challenge, a much-needed challenge. And we get the ball away. Hotspur picks it up again. It's Heung-min Son. It's relentless pressure from Spurs here in the opening 10 minutes. And Harry Kane sticks a shot past the returning Bazunu in goal to give Spurs an early 1-0 lead here. And that is not what we needed at the start of this game. Aribo to bring the ball forward. Aribo is a man who's in desperate need of a good performance today as James Ward-Prowse nicely skips away from Lucas Moura and brings the ball in field looking for Gineppo. Couldn't quite find him. We head it down. Salazar picks it up. We've got to try and respond quickly, and that is not the answer as Lucas Moura picks it up now, trying to drive the ball forward for Spurs. Looks for Hotspur in the centre of the park. It's Betancourt, the man who's out with an ACL injury in real life, who now gives it to Harry Kane. It's 2-0 Spurs, and we are being undone so easily. It's been a disaster of an opening 20 minutes. Where on earth are my defence? Well, it was all too easy. They just picked the ball up. It was Lucas Moura, who played the ball through into Harry Kane. And when you leave that much space for Harry Kane in the centre of your box, you are asking for trouble. He just curved it around the goalkeeper. Bazunu had absolutely no chance. And look at him, he smiles towards the camera. It's Spurs 2, Southampton 0. Sulemana on the left-hand side. I've got to try and see if we can try and conjure up any sort of opportunity. And just as I say that, we go and give the ball away so cheaply. We've just been so poor in the opening 25 minutes. Everything Spurs have done has been so much better than us. And now Betancourt into Hotspur. Bella Kocha fortunately was up trying to defend and then gives the ball away. And Kane into Lucas Moura. He's got space out wide if he can find Pedro Porro. Yes, he can. Pedro Porro's got the pace to go past Yilmaz. Yilmaz, though, trying to trap back. Not good enough. Kane smashes it against Salazar. Dooku can try and get it clear. Just about keeps hold of it, fortunately enough. And we get the ball clear just about. Oh, it's terrible, though. It's absolutely terrible. And Harry Kane gives Tottenham a 3-0 lead. It's a complete and utter shambles. What on earth were we doing? We just gave the ball away so cheaply. Look at the replay here. And that is just so poor. And Harry Kane, again in acres of space. Defence wide open. It's his third. It's Tottenham's third. And within 30 minutes, it's game over here already. 3-0 Spurs. Carl Walker-Peters into Jeremy Dooku, who's been pretty quiet so far. Gineppo now. Going to try and flick this one right the way across to Yilmaz on the left-hand side. Takes it down nicely. Looks for Sulemana. He looks for Onyunachu. This is the chance to get back in the game. And that is possibly the worst type of shot I've seen from that man all season. He's been on fire until today. The scores remain 3-0. Betancourt for Spurs into Heung-min Son. Perisic gets it back. Looks for Harry Kane, who's dropped deep into his typical position for Spurs. And Heung-min Son just skips away from the former Spurs man in Carl Walker-Peters. Lays it into Kane. Oh my word. The play is too quick. I can't even get my words out. Harry Kane smashes the ball past Bazunu to make it 4-0 Spurs. Beautiful interchanging play between Heung-min Son, Harry Kane and Lucas Moura. Look at this pass. Harry Kane into Lucas Moura. First time pass back to him. And he smashes it past Bazunu. And it's just going from worse to worse. Adrian DG can't believe it. It's Spurs 4, Southampton 0. Jeremy Dooku on the right-hand side finds Onyunachu, just trying to find any sort of pass, any sort of opening will do. Ridvan Yilmaz, I should say, tries to skip away from the defender of Porro. Does really nicely, gets a decent ball in, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Hotspur into Lucas Moura, lovely little touch into Kane. He gets it back again. Oh, this is beautiful. Beautiful play between the two of them. Lucas Moura looks for Heung-min Son. Kane is in. Oh, that is just ridiculous. They've completely tore my defence apart. Harry Kane has got his 5th of the game. Tottenham 5, Southampton 0. Orsic, the substitute, tries to go past Pedro Porro and does a really nice job. And he continues his run, goes past Sanchez, looks in the box for Onyunachu. It's probably the best piece of play we've had all game. Aribo picks it up and doesn't do anything with it. He's fighting for his position in our team. And he really didn't do anything there that's worthwhile. Lucas Moura into Hotspur. Spurs are just not done here, but fortunately Perud, the substitute, comes on and wins the ball back high up the pitch. Perud now into Alcaraz, the other substitute. Onyunachu takes it down. Lovely play to get past Sanchez. And then completely loses track of where the ball is. And Eric Dyer comes across. And he will hopefully, he will get the ball clear for Spurs. And Juma now is leading the line for Spurs as Harry Kane, after a good day's work, has gone off as a sub. And Heung-min Son now looking to play the ball across. It's beautiful. Pedro Porro was there. Unfortunately enough, my left-back substitute, Perud, was there as well to force it off for a corner. It's going to be Heung-min Son who's going to take this one. Looks like he's going to go short. He does to Højbjerg. Spurs just looking to put the icing on what has been a fantastic cake here for them. Danjuma, lovely footwork into Sanchez. Lucas Moura puts it wide, right at the death. The referee blows the whistle. And it finishes here 5-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Kane collects the match ball. 6 attempts, 5 goals, in arguably his best performance for years. But as for us, a 5-0 beating at home is our worst performance of the season. Fortunately enough though, it's perfect timing for all these scout reports to come back for these 5 players. And having actually gone through the list and taken a look at them, you can clearly see that Joey Veerman is the highest rated player. He is the oldest, so I guess it is expected. But at 80 rated, he definitely would come in and start straight away in my starting 11. And overall, he's got some pretty decent stats. My main concern though, however, is his physical stats. Acceleration and sprint speed really not at the level that I probably would want in the centre of my midfield. And so with that in mind, I've decided to go in a different direction and travel over to Netherlands to negotiate a deal for this man, Quinten Timber, all the way from Feyenoord. And at 21 years of age, with a deal that's worth £14 million, at 75 rated, he's showing great potential, and he looks like the exact type of signing that Southampton would make in real life. Yes, he's not the 80+ rated player that I was looking to slot into my midfield, but he can play at central midfield, central defensive midfield, and cam as well. And so he's got so much room to grow and develop, and also he offers us so much flexibility and versatility across the pitch. In terms of his stats, he's actually got really good physical stats, really good mental stats, and he's got a lot of room for his technical stats to grow as well. So I think he's not the huge, crucial signing that the board and potentially the fans were looking for to go into my midfield, but I definitely think he can start ahead of Aribo, and he can hopefully have an impact on this team for the remaining 6 months of the season, and hopefully for the foreseeable future in the career mode. And with him coming in, it means I do have the opportunity to ship another midfielder out, and it means that the young up-and-coming Romeo Lavia, who I have high hopes for in this career mode, will be leaving in the January transfer window, only on loan though to our Premier League rivals Leeds United on a short-term 6-month deal. However, for now though, it's going to be a real baptism of fire for the young Dutchman as he's about to make his debut in what is probably going to be one of the hardest games of the season so far, as we welcome Manchester City to St Mary's. Livramento goes in field for Timber for his first touch of the game, and it's a beautiful touch into Onunachu, who had just unfortunately strayed offside. Timber now just wrestling away from the Manchester City midfield into Jeremy Doku. It's a lovely ball from Gineppo into Livramento, who finds himself in an advanced position, tries to dink it over, looking for Onunachu, couldn't find him. Timber tries to come in, gets muscled off the ball in a real welcome to the Premier League. It's Haaland now, lays it off to Phil Foden, gets it back from him. Haaland's going to try and drive forward, drives past Bella Kotchap, he's not even there. Unfortunately, it's a poor ball, and we can get rid of it and get it clear. Kalmadine Sulemana to try and dink this one over into Onunachu. Onunachu somehow manages to bundle it past the defender, but City get it clear. Mahrez for City again. Walker's out wide, but Haaland is infield. Haaland into Foden. Foden strikes. Man City have got a corner here from that resulting save from Varela, and I actually realised I forgot to change my team management and forgot to take Varela back out of the team. So it's another start from the youngster, and it's a huge start against Manchester City as Ridvan Yilmaz just brings this ball forward completely unopposed here, and he's driving down this left-hand side. This is brilliant stuff from Yilmaz. Has he got an option in the box? He does. He finds Jeremy Doku, and that is absolutely sensational. What a fantastic counter-attack from a Manchester City corner, and Jeremy Doku sneaks into the back post and gives us a 1-0 lead. But that was all down to the work of this man, Ridvan Yilmaz, who really wants to make impression on the Southampton faithful. It's my 2 new summer signings that combine, and Jeremy Doku is on hand to get ahead of the defender and just place the ball into the back of an empty net. The manager celebrates. It's 1-0. Bernardo Silva into Haaland. Haaland takes a nice touch, goes past Yilmaz again like he's not there, and that is terrible, terrible goalkeeping. And it was my mistake to keep him in the squad and to keep him in the starting 11, and that has really come back to bite me. Haaland just powers past Yilmaz like he's not even there, just overpowered him, too much strength. And just as Yilmaz has done fantastic work at the other end of the pitch, it was too easy for Haaland. And look at this for a strike. I mean, Varela, look at this. Oh my word, he dives out of the way of the ball. That should be a simple save for the young goalkeeper. He makes a complete hash of it. Haaland picks the ball up, gets City on level terms. It's 1-1 here. Yilmaz looking to bring the ball forward and make amends for his early defensive mistake. Gineppo picks it up. Gineppo's going to look for James Ward-Prowse on the left-hand side. Can Ward-Prowse get it back in? He can, looking for Onunachu. couldn't find his head. James Ward-Prowse tried to win it back, but it was headed away from Walker. And now Haaland collects for City. Phil Foden looks over the top to the right-hand side to an unmarked Riyad Mahrez, and he can now try and streak down this right-hand side. Instead, he goes in looking for Haaland. This time, Salazar comes across, and now we can try and break just as the referee blows the whistle for half-time. Rodri for City into Bernardo Silva. Oh, that is beautiful footwork to give it to Kyle Walker. And now City just play 1-2 between the two of them. Bernardo Silva into Haaland. They've completely opened me up here, unfortunately. Livramento comes across the block. It's going to be Jack Grealish with the resulting corner for City, and he's going to put this one straight into the box. It's Orchich who's on as a substitute to header it away, and Timber with a huge challenge there to try and get the ball away. Gineppo just blocked off by Tar as City continue to apply the pressure here. Haaland into Phil Foden. Phil Foden tries to go past Livramento. It's another good block from him, and now we can try and strike a counter-attack of our own. Jeremy Doku now to bring the ball forward. He's got Livramento streaking ahead of him on the right-hand side. Livramento keeps his run going. He's got an option in the box. Can he try and find Che Adams, who's on as a substitute? No, he can't, as Edison gets there first. Salazar goes to Yilmaz on the left-hand side. He's been really involved at both ends of the pitch so far in this game. James Ward-Prowse looking to get involved and just gets shoved off the ball by Rodri, but Timber picks it up. Bernardo Silva tried to put a challenge in. Che Adams comes across to win the ball. Livramento now looks for Jeremy Doku on the right-hand side, finds him. Going to try and put a ball into the box, looking for Orsic, who's nowhere to be seen. And it's easy again for City to defend. Balakocha into Timber now. Timber going to try and look out wide for Jeremy Doku. Does. Finds Livramento. Livramento goes back to Jeremy Doku. Doku looks for Timber again. It's James Ward-Prowse going to try and spray this out to Yilmaz on the left-hand side. Lovely play. Orsic strikes with his left. What a save from Edison. James Ward-Prowse to take the resulting corner, and we've got a hope here that he can produce one of his renowned corners. And he doesn't really. It's headed away from City. Can we keep the pressure alive? No, we can't. It's City to escape with the ball. Rodri into De Bruyne. Gets it back from him. Looks for De Bruyne again. Nice stuff from City. We've only got a couple of minutes to hold on here. De Bruyne tussling with Ridvan Yilmaz. And that is that. The referee calls time on this game. It finishes here at St Mary's 1-1. The fans in high spirits. It's a decent point in all fairness after a terrible result against Spurs. But at full time it finishes Southampton 1, Manchester City 1. And so as we continue on with the games, a late goal from James Ward-Prowse is not enough as Wolves go and beat us 3-2 in our next game. Onuachu missing a penalty. He's just slightly missing his shooting boot so far in this episode, and it's another 3 points dropped. More worryingly though is the performances of the young man Kalmadine Suleimanu, who Southampton brought in real life. His rating has gone up by 3 points and he is still showing great potential, but in terms of his stats they don't quite reflect those positive improvements in his ratings. Only 3 goals and 1 assist to his name so far in 23 appearances in all competitions. I'm really hoping that this young man can pick up his performances as the season and as the career mode progresses as well. We've got one last game to finish this episode off, but as you can see, it's not a good one. A 2-1 home loss, this time to Aston Villa. A Gineppo goal in the 68th minute, just not enough. And you'll also see that Onuachu has missed another penalty, hauled off at half-time in place of Che Adams. He has really lost his form this episode. And frustratingly, those poor performances mean not only are we out of the FA Cup in the 3rd round, but we're also now dropping down to 14th place in the Premier League. We have still got a pretty decent gap to the relegation spots, but it's really not a good trajectory we are on. We are minus 12 in terms of our goal difference, and with Onuachu's goals drying up, it is really starting to hurt us. New signing Quinton Timber has already gone up by 1 rating to 76, but as you can see in his only 3 Premier League performances, he hasn't exactly set the world alight. Let's hope we see more from him in the next episode, and let's hope I see you guys too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.